So would love to invite Varun. He's a EO and DLC member. Uh, he's going to be speaking on the power of a global entrepreneurial community. Varun is the MD of Chartered Hotels Private Limited, an EO and DLC member, and is also part of the DLC Global Hospitality Committee. And he's a business leader in the field of real estate and hospitality. He's also founded and developed the vision behind Chartered Hotels, along with developing hydropower platforms for investment in the renewable space in Nepal. Varun, I think with this, over to you and sharing your experience about the world of forums with our member.
Hi. So, the journey of being part of a forum. So, I've been an EO member for almost 10 years now. For the first maybe 4 to 5 years, I avoided being part of a forum. Now, the reason I avoided being part of a forum was I was quite uncomfortable with the idea of going into a room with people who I have just come to know and opening up and being vulnerable in front of them. I think that was the biggest issue. How do you go in front of people and share with them their problems? Or how do you share with them your successes and actually be open with them? I think that was a learning process. I think we had to go through that. But the value that being part of a group that it gave, I think there is, it's over time and after being part of a forum that you actually realize what comes out of it. To the extent that, as Jimmy said, right, I'm here today. I wasn't supposed to be part of the panel, but I know what my forum mate went through, what he went through emotionally, what he went through personally to actually create this platform. And once you are part of this journey with somebody, you actually realize that whatever come may you, if you can add something to it, you must. And I think that's what the forum does. It's about sharing. It's about being part of someone's business and professional journey, as well as personal journey, I think.
I'm just gonna go through a few things which I think is, for me, which has been very important.
So one of the biggest things about the forum experience for me was, it was about giving time to yourself. I think as entrepreneurs in our busy lives, entrepreneurs are working 7 days a week, 365 morning till evening. Where is there time for yourself? I think that was something which I personally didn't understand until I joined the forum. I think the forum was about taking a step back from the craziness of daily life and introspecting and seeing what is it that you're doing. It was about taking a step back, slowing down. It was almost as if when you enter, so we have this process where when you enter the room, you shut down your communication devices. You take a step back, you have a short icebreaker. You guys will learn about it, a small question. It makes you present. You have to be present in that room, actively listening and actively participating in that. And I think that was very important, both for the forum as well as for business. We forget, as leaders, we have individuals, your leadership, senior members coming to you, and we're always caught up, right? Being present is as important in a business as it was in a forum. So I think you keep learning, and it's very interesting that what you learn in a forum, you can apply to business, but at the same time, what you're doing in a forum is what you need to be doing as well. So active listening and being present was something which was a basic skill, and to be very honest, I did not develop it as actively until I joined the forum. So we talk about, I will run through a basic format. I think I have some time, and I will do a short update as well. You'll get it here. But I think for me, the other part of the forum was about experiences, right? When you're a leader, you sometimes feel very isolated. You are doing your thing, you have your own problems, you're leading an organization and you're constantly fighting your own challenges, right? So in that process, you might sometimes feel very alienated. There's nobody there. You can go talk to your family about it, but sometimes that's not the way. You can talk to your friends, but sometimes you'll end up getting advice. So I don't know whether that's the most appropriate. You can go back to your colleagues, but again, there's a perspective issue. So where would you be able to find like-minded people who are present in the room, listening to you, interacting with you, and actually giving you shared experiences? It's not advice. There's a very subtle difference, and I think the trainers will work on that. But it's just sharing with you their experiences which you can build on going forward. So I think that was a very important part for me, going through that. The other thing was the vulnerability part, right? I mean, how do I share? I think that was one of the biggest reasons why initially I was hesitant. But now, having been in a forum for 7 years, 8 years, I'm actually the most happy for is the fact that in this room, nobody is judging you. This is a non-judgment zone. This is your space. I'm not there for others. The others might be there, but I'm there for myself. Those 3 to 4 hours that you spend in the room is time that you're giving yourself. And what you're sharing, nobody in the room is allowed to judge you for. And I think that makes a big difference, whether it's professional, if you are taking a certain decision in business and you share that with others. It could be right, it could be wrong, but you can't be judged for it. Personally, if you have done something, you have to do something. I guess for me, that was one of the big things where you share, but you're left without feeling, you're not targeted, you're not left feeling down. It's just something you give out, and it's almost a catharsis where you actually can share and just be open and be yourself more than anybody else. For me, I think the framework of the forum was very important. I think that's what gives it structure, and that's the initial part what made me hesitant. I did not know there was a structure, but the whole way that it is done with the constitution, the way the updates are done, the resources, the planning, I think it all adds value to the forum. You have to trust the structure of the forum. There are 3 parts to a forum. I can share with you what I know about our forums. It's updates, it's presentations, and it's resources. For us, the updates is what we do in our daily lives. And it's the 5% of what is important, what is meaningful. And how we define this 5% is we have broken it up into 3 different, whether it's family, whether it's professional, or it's personal. And I will share with you my update. I don't know, I wasn't planning on doing, but I think that's the best way to give a perspective on what it is all about and how do you actually go to the 5%. So I will start with a personal update. I think 3 weeks ago, I ran the Mumbai Marathon. I did the 42K. I had been training for almost 9 months. And I realized it was a very humbling moment for me. I felt weak, and I realized that I wasn't as strong as I thought I was. Even though I had trained, during the run at different moments, I wanted to give up. And I realized I wasn't where I thought I would be. It was very tough for me to accept that moment and actually go through with it. But for the next year, I guess I have to start again and have to build on it. You're brought back to ground. You're not as strong as you think you are. And I think that was very hard for me to accept. On the family front, my update, I took 6 days off and I went away, and I did not want to work because there were challenges that we were facing. And these 6 days brought me closer to my family. It made me realize that you need to take time off, that you need to reconnect and you need to be present with your family to be able to do good at work. On my work front, on my professional side, we are facing a challenge where I feel very uneasy and uncomfortable trying to professionalize a family-run enterprise and making it professional. I'm a 3rd generation hotel developer. My grandfather started the business and my father grew it. Today, I need to consolidate and make it into one single unit so we can grow and be prepared for the future. I'm very uneasy with this. I do not know how to grow. That's my update. For me, getting here, going through these emotions and actually sharing with others in that room gives me the opportunity to reflect back on my problem and think of how I can address them. That's what I think the most important part of the forum is, to be able to go back into what you are doing over the last month, over the last 15 days, identify what is important for you and try and address those things. Then the other part, so presentations, right? So this is the other part. So one is the updates where you share, and the other is presentations. Presentations are done by the forum members on issues, challenges, opportunities that they face. This is a 15-minute presentation where you prepare and you put out your problem statement. You identify what is the challenge that you want to address, lay it out for the forum, and then hear shared experiences from them on similar certain situations. I don't have an example for this, but just thinking out aloud, it could be anything from how to manage conflict among senior management, or how to prepare yourselves for a certain event that is happening in your life going forward. It could be a personal thing about dealing with certain hardships in your family. So again, forum is not just focused around business. I think business you will get the value of business when you look at your professional and personal sides as well. And I think that's where the forum balance is in. You are able to learn on the business front by addressing issues and challenges that you face on different aspects. Finally, where am I with forum today? So I think with forum, as I said earlier, it was not I was very hesitant in joining. But today I can say that I look forward to these forum meetings and I conscientiously prepare. It's not a last minute thing. You actually know your forum meeting is happening on a particular date. And somehow you over time realize that you have to prepare for it, not just for yourself, but for your members as well. Because unless you're giving something to it, you will not get anything. So initially, because when our forum was formed, we were 8. Today we are 10. Some people left, some people joined. Initially, everyone is a bit hesitant. How much do you share? How much do you give? But the thing is, everybody's in the same space. We don't realize, but everybody is in the same space. They're all new to the forum. Everybody is trying to understand each other. And we call it a plunge. As you take more plunges, you start getting more out of the forum. When you share those challenges or those difficulties which you haven't shared with others, you're able to realize that you will actually get similar shared experiences. Others have faced similar things. And if you actually take that first step, the others will reciprocate and share as well. So that's my journey with my forum. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Hi, Varun.
Hi.
So my question is, how do you trust forum members with sensitive information? Each of us have businesses that, let's say somebody wants to take it to an IPO, or somebody has a certain vision for entering a certain new sector, which could be in conflict with some, or do you understand
Sure,
the question?
absolutely.
Yeah, so if you're a bunch of strangers, the biggest thing for me, and one of the reasons I trust my friends who are my college mates, is because I know that information that I share with them is going to stay with them. So how do you trust a forum member?
For me, it's the other way around. I will not trust my friend with such sensitive information. I rather trust my forum. So it's something that I've learned by being in it. And I think it starts with, there's a formal constitution, right? You are all agreeing to be part of a forum. You're there for a specific reason. You're committing to be part of that. It's a choice. Second, you have a constitution which requires you to not break confidentialities. Third part, it's a commitment, right? It's accountability and commitment. As a group, you are coming together. If you are not able to keep confidentiality, then the whole ethos of a forum, the whole thing that keeps it together is that trust. And I think trust has to be built. I don't think day one it's there. It's a process. As you get to know your forum mates. For me, I did not know anyone. I am not from Bombay. I moved to Bombay. I became part of EO for 3 years. I wasn't part of a forum. And when I was put in a forum, I don't know if you pick forum, you put people. Yeah. So I was put in a forum.
Like you said, I'll take it from there. You do not begin with the fact on day one you start trusting people. It's foolish to think that way. It's never going to happen. It's human tendency never to trust people. Only with experiences, you begin to form the circle of trust, and it goes beyond. A forum to mature takes 2 to 3 years. It's not going to be an overnight experience. But nevertheless, in those 3 years, you're not wasting your time. You're gaining so much more and more and more. There is no shortcut to this journey. Also, how seriously you take confidentiality individually is how you will put confidentiality in the hands, your confidentiality in the hands of the other forum mates. So if you take it very seriously, there is no pillow talk allowed, then you will automatically start trusting others as well. But if you yourself break confidentiality, then you do not trust your own forum mates. So the buck stops with you and starts with you. Most people want everybody else to be confidential, but I'll do what I want to do. It doesn't work that way.
And I think that part, right? I think the whole forum experience is about yourself. The others are there, but it's about you and what you're giving in. And as he said, if you trust the forum, you will see it reciprocate back.
Well, we've got other entrepreneurs sitting. I'm sure they've got some questions.
You spoke about bringing about change in an organization and professionalism, with especially the whole challenge with working with family. How do you really manage stress? Because I know when it comes to family, there are so many things where you have those who are seniors and there's a lot of baggage, and they truly feel that they are adding value when they are not. So how do you really manage that stress? I'm sure running is a great stress buster. Any more tips are welcome. Thank you.
So I will try and answer it in the light of the forum. So I am actually presenting in my forum next week on this issue, right? This is something, so how it develops, right? So in your updates, if your forum starts feeling, there's a moderator, they feel this is a constant topic that you're actually struggling with. They sort of identify that and they say, okay, this is something that is being repeated. You have issues with running a family enterprise and it creates a lot of stress. And they actually ask you to do a presentation. So this is where all these months, I will be presenting in my forum on this specific topic on how to deal with this stress. How do I deal with it in my personal capacity? So it's something that I have, right? So I am a third generation. This is where I am here because of this, right? So it is something I have to learn how to deal with. I don't have an answer to it. It's constant learning. And I think these small presentations or these forum interactions at least gives me the ability to hear from others. I think in our forum there are three other members who are third generation. We have first generations like Jim. So it's a perspective, right? So how does Jimmy deal with his stress in an organization versus how does a third generation deal? So it's about perspective, right? And you take what you have to from it. And it's just views, which are again, honest views, right? This is not being done for somebody else's reason. They're sharing with you because you're part of this group, right? So I think that makes a difference. Hearing from people.
A lot of the learnings happen with experience sharing. So within the group, there is one public image where we speak how we handle stress and deal with it. Within the group, you're so vulnerable. The truth is, most times you do not know how to handle stress, including all of us. So we'll be lying if we say that no, we know it all and we as entrepreneurs know how to handle stress. It doesn't let us affect us. All of us go through this entire graph of up and down. But within the forum, you can be vulnerable. You can cry or howl and say, look, I'm not able to handle it. It's just getting too much, right? That you can't do with friend circle. You got to kind of protect your reputation and create your image that cannot break. But within the forum, there is no image. It's as simple and as true as that. Also, family businesses is an important subject of stress. It's a ghar ghar ki kahani. There is nothing new, nothing unknown about it. The more you discuss it, the more experience sharing happens. And the more experience sharing happens from both perspectives of second generation, third generation. He's sitting right there, fourth generation, right? He's the fourth generation, 120 years of legal practice in Bangalore and across India. So perspective is one part. Then the first generation and the second generation entrepreneurs add to the perspective. These issues are far better handled when there are 9 other people supporting you in your life with their experiences, rather than you alone trying to navigate life with delicate issues of parents, brothers, uncles. You can't go and discuss it openly with others, but you can discuss it in the forum.
Hi.
I just wanted to know, I understand in DLC, initial introduction or the group will be formed by the DLC group, but in EO and YPO, how do they induct members and how people go out of the group?
So I'm not sure if I understood, but for me at least, I was put in a forum in EO as well. I did not have a choice. I had avoided being part of it for a very long time. And one fine day, I was told, you're part of it. So I was still trying to avoid it. But the thing is, I did not get much value from the organization that I've been part of. Because you can go to events and talks, but I think the forum is what actually gives that value to the entire experience. Once you're part of a forum, at least for me, the entire experience changed. So that was the first one. And the second, you said, how do people leave conflict? People leave. So people come, so people change. So we started off, there was somebody who wasn't comfortable with the idea of being in a forum. So they decided to leave immediately. Some people changed cities, so decided to leave. We had a mixed forum, we had women in our forum. So somebody had to go on sabbatical because they were expecting and they didn't want to work after that for something. So for various reasons, people decide and people move on and new people join. I think that's part of the learning as well. I mean, that's how you get new perspective as well. I think that's very healthy in a way.
So that's okay. I just wanted to thanks, Varun. So my question was, one is the the emotional part of the forum where you kind of connect with people and get an understanding from them with regards to any emotional side, whether it's personal, whether it's business related. But how does the forum work in terms of actual business? Like, is it something it's encouraged or frowned upon? Like, if we are, let's say, 9 people, 9 entrepreneurs put together, there is going to be a chance that we might be in the same business or we might want to work together or something like that.
No. So when we form a forum, non-compete is one of the founding principles of a forum. So I'm into hospitality and Varun is into hospitality. We both are in the same forum, but we are in different range of hospitality. I'm into experiential hospitality. He's into complete with 12 different resorts. Compete is not allowed within the same forum.
More than compete, my question is collaboration.
2 ways of looking at it. The forum constitution can decide whether business is allowed between the forum members or no. Should be encouraged, not encouraged. EOYPO doesn't encourage it, so to speak, but enough incidences of forum members supporting each other, collaborating, funding JVs after informing the rest of the forum members. So full disclosure and conducting a business. DLC doesn't look at it negatively at all. Of course, you do business within your circles. So if this is going to be your closest circle, you have your comfort zone, you have your trust. What better partner to find in business than somewhere where you have trust? So my way of looking at within DLC is I have no complaints about doing business within the forum. However, individual forum constitution can decide the do's and don'ts. General framework is provided by DLC. Tweaking to suit to collectively all of you has to be decided by each forum. DLC plays no role, neither does YPO nor does EO.
I will give you a slightly different perspective. I agree with what Jimmy is saying. But at the same time, being in business means it might go good, it might go sour, right? So do you want to affect your forum relationship? So I think that's the other reason. So forums have to decide, but individuals also have to be mindful of the fact if business is good, it's good. If it's not, then what happens to this intimate space that you have created? So I think that's the reason why sometimes they're hesitant, but again, it depends.
Hi, Varun. And this is a personal question, actually. Has the forum helped you more in your personal life or in your professional life?
Personal. I think professional is you get perspective, but I think the challenges we as leaders, or at least I have faced, has been more personal and to do with whether it's be my personal space, my well-being, my health, my family, and those are things which you wouldn't know who to talk with. You can have a very informal discussion with a friend, but what are you left with at the end? You still go back thinking of those issues. And I think in a forum, at least for me, having that structure has helped me at least try and address some of those issues. Not addressed completely, but at least you have a framework where you can go and try and start addressing those challenges. And I think in that sense, the shared experiences have really helped in the personal way. Yeah.
Hi, Varun, Ashraf here. You said that when you started to go to the forum, the first inhibitions you had was how am I going to go and share, my personal information, or for that matter, how to do that. So again and again, you must have tried. Was there a single thought or an action which actually pushed you to do it more better? Was there something in the change of a mindset or something where one fine day you decided that I need to take this plunge and do it better? Just like to understand on that.
I think it was in one of the, maybe the second or third meeting, one of our forum members decided to dig deep and actually share something. It wasn't me. It was somebody else who shared a certain issue and we had to share our experiences. And that automatically made me go back down and think about it. So it was a question that came up that resulted in me having to share. I could have very easily given a superficial answer, but somehow his question made me open up and share in detail.
That was like a trigger, actually.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Ashraf, the structure of forum itself allows you through a period of conditioning to start opening up. You start peeling the layers, and at some point in time you realize that the boja that you're carrying with these layers with the rest of the world, family, friends, here it's completely different. And hence you open up, it becomes practice to you, it becomes muscle memory to you. Yeah, the confidence is very different. So when I'm speaking within my forum, I would not be even blinking an eyelid that I'm at risk or I'm exposing myself. Or my people will judge me. In fact, I want them to tell me what's wrong, what's right with their experiences. I'm craving to listen to their shared experience about what I've narrated. It may be negative, it may be positive. Most humans, all of us, are never used to talking about our negatives to people, right? Most humans, I mean, and publicly it's out of the question, right? Our negatives are always with us, they're very close to our heart. We realize it, but we refuse to even discuss it with our own self, our own conscience. In a forum, you start opening up your negatives, and I've been drinking too much. Now, that the forum is mindful of it. If that issue keeps coming up again and again, then there is a discussion and experiential as to what should be done. Nobody is judging you. You are an alcoholic, you're not an alcoholic, all kinds of issues. You've gone bankrupt, you're not gone bankrupt. Nobody is judging you. Everybody is invested in your well-being. That's the positive side. And when you develop that confidence that others who are listening to you are genuinely interested in your well-being, the confidence level is somewhere else.
Thank you, Jimmy. And I think that really helps. Because once you have that understanding that everybody is there to care for each other, it's a platform where you're more than happy to share. I think it's a journey.
It's a journey. It's a journey. That's what I was trying to tell him earlier. It's not going to happen overnight. So when I joined the forum, it was not overnight. I was listening to these guys talk, and slowly listening to them, I started opening up. And I started opening up my layers that I never knew existed. That's the best part. Self-discovery is what happens within a forum. When you sit and fill in an update form, I was sharing with the forum today. A new forum of DLC has been formed, and I was sharing with all of them. That update form is basically a 5-minute job. But if you want to do justice to it, it takes more than 2 hours. And 2 hours that leave you thinking. Right here, right now, how do you feel? Ashraf might say happy, sad, whatever. Why? And if you really answer that why, then that requires getting into the layers and thinking. And when you answer that on a professional front, on a personal front, on a financial front, on a health front, your life starts opening up in front of you in a perspective that you had not thought. Thank you, guys. Okay, we can first of all thank Varun, and let's hear a loud round of applause.